let's get into it, man. Q, how you doing, bro?
Oh man, doing straight. Man, good. I said good day to be a good Bulls fan, man. We got some interesting topics, bro. Like I'm just ready to get started. Excited to see Dalen Terry on the court. Excited to see Justin Lewis. Excited to see what he does for us, man. We got some very, like you said, high value prospects, bro. So it's summer league is what I'm waiting for.
Summer League is gonna be exciting, man, to kind of see what they do. Going into Summer League. I don't really take too much away from Summer League though, because we seen Io last year. Io didn't have the best Summer League. You seen Denzel Valentine killing Summer League. Um, so just from my experience as far as being a Bulls fan, I love to see what they do. But it's kind of hard to project what they're gonna look like when regular season come along. But that is something I look forward to, man. So from you watching Dalen Terry, bro, what's your comparison? If you could give him a player comp right now, who you compare him to?
So honestly, he kind of remind me of like the first person I thought of was Lonzo when I first seen him. Just because I see a long, lanky guy, they about the same height. Except like I'm pretty sure Lonzo has a higher IQ, but in Dalen probably it has more focus on the defensive end early in his career. I feel like Lonzo developed that a little bit later. But I kind of see the same type of person when I look at them. I think Dalen will probably be guarding bigger people, and I think he just have that defensive mindset. But that's who I think of. I also think like my friends, we throwing out different player comps. Someone said he's just a taller Javante Green. I could kind of see that. We had I think you mentioned Ronnie Brewer off the show. I could kind of see Ronnie Brewer a little bit.
More Jalen Lewis. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Jalen Lewis.
You got Jalen Lewis from Ronnie Brewer. Okay, I get you, Corey Brewer.
Yeah, you was talking about Dalen, right?
But
okay.
I think Dalen is gonna be solid. Like I feel like defense is gonna put him on the floor early.
Agreed.
I think especially because we're gonna get into later some of Mark Every's comments. Even though we still have a lot of guards, injuries, things come up. So I feel like he was more so. I think while they didn't address the needs, we thought that should have been addressed, like shooting more length. They got more people that they could put at that three position, because last year, as you saw, when Lonzo went down and then when Pat went down, we didn't really have no one with length after that. Everybody on the team was about 6'5", 6'4", shorter, not really defenders outside of Alex Caruso and Io. So, and Io can only guard probably other ones. I really feel like. So it's just I think Dalen Terry is more so as shoring up the backcourt for if injuries happen than necessarily trying to be the push to make us the contender.
Take us over the top. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. He does bring versatility, something you said. I kind of see him as that 2-3 combo forward, I would say, with the ability to step down. I can see him playing 1 through 3 in certain situations, mainly 2 and 3 though. But he does bridge between our guards and our forwards. Like you said, when Pat went down last year, we didn't have anybody over 6'5" that could guard a wing. Alex Caruso did his best. Lonzo Ball, we already know, can guard 1 through 4. But that puts pressure on them, and to me, when you do things like that, that kind of results in an injury. When you got them banging down low against Julius Randle, you got them, sticking Anthony Davis, like that's, they can do it, don't get me wrong, but that's not their natural thing, and that requires a lot more energy, strength, and power, so I think he adds just an element of balance to the lineup, being able to kind of push people down in position, which is more natural for them. I can actually see him being out there. Maybe we see DeMar at the 2 a little bit more, or when Zach, if Zach comes out, maybe you throw out a lineup of, Lonzo, Caruso, DeMar at the 2, Dalen at the 3, Pat. and Vooch, or if whoever our backup rim protection gonna be, like I just think it just brings a different element. Him being that just bridge connecting piece. Now let's get a little bit into Jalen Lewis. I want to touch on him briefly. I didn't really know too much about him going in the draft night. I knew he wasn't going to be 18, and if we were to get a second round pick, I would have thought that we would have, grabbed EJ Liddell. Him sliding so far all the way to 41st. I would have liked Mark Eversley and AK to kind of buy a second round or try to, maybe can make a trade or something like that. Pick up a future first, grab a second for maybe like Kobe or something like that. Because EJ was sliding, man, and I know a lot of people wanted EJ. Again, that's somebody I did like, but he is only 6'7" though, and he's a small 6'7", so he kept getting the comparisons to Grant Williams. Which is a good player, but to me, Grant Williams is not the piece, again, that's going to put you over the top. That would have been somebody good just to add depth. But I think grabbing Jalen Lewis is not far from that. His player comps after draft night, I kept hearing Paul Millsap. When I watched him, and, the little bit of tape I did see, he kind of reminded me of Patrick Williams, a strong forward, somebody who could hit the glass. He really put pressure on the rim. A two-leg jumper, just somebody who I think we can use, honestly, adding to that forward depth. What you feel about that, man? Adding that possibly to the rotation.
I liked the body. Like, he's 6'6", 230. Mm-hmm. So I did like that. Because once again, we do need like some physicality on the team.
Yeah, he's strong, bro.
Yeah, like I remember Jeff Van Gundy was talking about it. He was like, even though we undersized, he was like, we all our guys like speed. We all got like track stars. No one who's really made to be down there banging. So yeah. I do like that. Adding him, we got some weight. At least now we have some weight. So we added some length, and we got some bigger guys who ready to learn. Both guys aggressive, ready to get after the ball handler and get to the rim. So I think they do add that physicality because they're going to be active cutters, I'm hoping. Like, basically like how, I keep bringing up Javonte Green. I feel like we're going to have like more people ready to roll, more people to get more energy players. I feel like that was something that was missing.
Yeah, and I think both of them actually bring that. That's a great piece that I really agree with that, man. We did like energy in certain lineups. Caruso pretty much brought it every night. But Dalen personality, I think that's somebody who will bring it up every night. Hopefully he can motivate them bench guys to want to come in and bring it every night.
And like you mentioned, like those people who we got people who are leaders on the floor with their play. They show up to the gym, they make sure everybody on time, but we need people who's gonna motivate other people with their words and with their personality.
Exactly.
Like there's a reason Marcus Smart's been a Celtic for so long.
Bobby Portis,
they needed that. PJ Tucker, so even Udonis Haslem, like you just need a guy who's gonna be physical and a guy that's gonna not only keep everybody in the locker room accountable, but that's gonna be a dog on the court.
Yeah, most definitely, man. With that being said, we threw out a few names, man. Let's kind of transition to Mark Eversley, man. So Mark Eversley came on after the draft. Draft wasn't even over yet. I don't even think in the front office mind. A lot of people brought up EJ Liddell. I think if AK and Mark Eversley was really high on EJ Liddell, they would have tried to purchase or acquire a second round draft pick. Mark Eversley actually got prepared to talk to the media kind of early, so I think they're really looking forward to free agency. I think that's where most of the excitement is going to come from. I think with Dalen, that was somebody they had high on their draft board, and they was able to get the piece that they wanted. Again, a project. It is the 18th pick, but to me, he's a high upside pick. When you look at best player available at 18, I think it's kind of hard to find a star there. So you want to get that project piece. That's why I was big on Patrick Baldwin Jr. Names like that. because I think if they pan out and you grab them, a late first or a mid first, that's a win to me. So I like what they did, but let's get back into Mark Eversley. He did say he wanted to address a few needs this offseason, him being the general manager, working with AK and they staff up there with JJ Polk and everybody. The cap guru, that's what I like to call him. The way he, make his moves, brought Alonzo in, found, trade options for sign and trade for DeMar DeRozan. We got some boys up there, so I think this free agency, we might see something similar to that. But the biggest comment he said that I took away from that night was he wanted to find rim protection to support Vooch. So I don't think Vooch is going anywhere.
Yeah, it sounds like Vooch here to stay. Sound like he want to keep the continuity. And honestly, that's the one thing I've been saying. He was the only consistent scoring option in the playoffs. He was getting his averages about 19 and 12, and he was shooting about 50%. He was shooting about like 34% from basically you can't really add who would do better than that, Like at that moment, what would be the upgrade from Vooch?
And then what was surprised most, honestly, Vooch was top 10 in every category for a center.
Exactly.
Every single category, he was top 10 in everything. Vooch is not a bad player. I would like to upgrade though. Possibly if we could get a sign and trade with maybe DeAndre Ayton. You constantly hear Rudy Gobert out there. I think those are two names that can really fit with what we got going on.
I don't think Rudy a real. I'll go the Ayton route. I want to go Rudy route.
I will go Rudy because I believe his defense at that. I believe it's like 7'9" wingspan. He already 7'1". Quick off his feet, number one rebound in the league, 3 times defensive player of the year. I just think the comparison, to me, Vooch is an elite rebounder, and that's about it, honestly. When it comes to being elite at something, Rudy is an elite rebounder, arguably the best rebounder in the NBA, elite shot blocker, elite defender. I think it's just, and he gives you 2 points less than what Vooch is giving you. You know what I'm saying? So I think
none of that's creative. None of that's self-created.
But
that's all
what centers are self-creating these days? If it's not Joker or it's not Embiid, you typically not getting creation from a center. I don't expect my center to do that. But again, I know a lot of people scared of the contract and then don't believe in his offensive upside and things like that. But I think
Luka Doncic guarded him in the playoffs.
Yeah, but see, to me, that's more of it's a mentality thing. To me, it's a combination of things you put all together. You got coaching, then you got the player, and then it's actually the front office. If y'all not really investing into Rudy Gobert, this dude is a 76% field goal percent shooter. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he bad down low. It's just he takes very high efficient shots. And if y'all not really working with him to develop that offensive game, then I think to me that's more representation of just everything as a whole, from the player, the front office, and the coaching staff. Now, if he come here with us being so offensively dynamic, I think we'll have a better balance. You got 2 amazing guards, outstanding guards on the wing, and Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. People who could get to their spots, knock down tough shots. And if you run in the pick and roll with Zach or DeMar, to me that's just trouble. Or Alonzo, that just spells trouble, man. He quick off his feet, he quicker than a lot of other bigs, can catch the alley-oops. He's not the best passer, but I done seen Rudy make some nice passes, some pretty good passes. And I think with him being a rim roller, that puts pressure on the rim, something that we're missing in Vooch. When we watched last season, we was a jump shooting team. It wasn't a lot of, dunks and layups outside of Zach LaVine, Derrick Jones Jr. and DeMar DeRozan. Everything else was, especially when it came to playoffs, jump shots, because we didn't have a rim rolling big. So I think that's something that, Mark Eversley kind of need to address to kind of offset Vooch's game. But again, Vooch is not a bad player. I like Vooch. But I don't think he isn't the elite big man that I think we need, especially when you kind of got two guards in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. I think you need to have that five to really clean up, they mess, especially them not being strong defenders on the wing. But I think offensively, Vooch really fits the system. It's just he doesn't put pressure on the rim for me. But outside of that,
I give you that. I give you that. So that was the main thing that Mark Eversley that was the strong takeaway that Vooch is here to stay. So it's officially our big three for real going forward.
Right. They standing on their word, man. Continuity. They standing on it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like that was the first year they was together. It's not like the whole team is complete top to bottom. There was still strong weaknesses, even outside of them. It wasn't like one of them was the weakness. So I understand that. You want to have a weak team before you kind of blow up your main core. So looking at that though, I'll say the only options people bring up in free agency are either Mitchell Robinson, DeAndre Ayton, any other names you heard? Those are pretty much the only two names I hear that's tied to the Bulls for real.
Yeah, for real. I think they could get creative, honestly. I think you can go two routes. We're going to be able to sign one person on the mid-level, which I believe the mid-level is about $10.2 million.
Yo, $10 million.
Yeah, and then we got that lower tier, those lower tier, pretty much the veteran minimum contracts. I think you can go two routes with this because I think you need to address multiple needs. One, rim protection, of course, something that they, are vocal about. He didn't say anything about shooting, but I think that's something else that you need to address. Now, I got two names that you can possibly address these needs with. It should be a combination of both because we have limited cap space, and then depending on what we do with Kobe White, which this kind of ties into, it's going to depend on what they do at this, what they do in this free agency. So with the mid-level, it seems like Mitchell Robinson is going to receive a little bit more than that $10 million. I think his projected salary right now is $12 million. That's coming from one of the GOATs in KC Johnson. That's kind of it's a few million outside our price range. Maybe if we can kind of work a sign and trade with New York, I'm not sure what New York will want. Or if we kind of share some salary by getting rid of Kobe White, but again, I don't know what team just wants Kobe White at the moment. It seems like he's been available for a minute and nobody bit at the apple. But you can go that route, or you can go the opposite route with your mid-level exception. Maybe you look at a Joe Ingles, somebody who a three can come in, play make a bit, he's a knockdown shooter, dead-eye shooter, and then you use the mid-level contract on, say, like a JaVale McGee, to where you could get McGee pretty much for the veteran minimum, not too much. And then Joe Ingles coming off an ACL tear, he's not going to be worth that much either. So you can kind of absorb those two contracts and also keep Kobe. And then you address kind of two needs. You got your rim protector and JaVale McGee, somebody who is experienced, a champion, been in the league a while, can, help the big man grow and groom. He's not on Shaq and the Fool no more, y'all, so really took his game to the next level. And then you can possibly get Joe Ingles, which again is that, 2-3 position, a little bit more size, can knock the three ball down, and you do it that way. Or you can, go your Isaiah Hardenstein or Hardenstein, whatever his name is, which is he's pretty good, man. He's the backup big man on the Clippers. Kind of like he kind of give me like Vooch vibes, like young Vooch vibes. Not super athletic, but very talented. Can pass the ball, put the ball on the ground, can score. Not really a jumper or a leaper or anything like that, but play solid defense on his feet. Um, I really think you could get him for at least a mid-level exception, and then with that veteran minimum contract, you try to bring in maybe a cheap shooter, whoever out there on the market. But I think them the two ways you can go.
I like the Joe Ingles route. I actually like that. JaVale McGee, Joe Ingles. I actually feel like they'll fit the team well, honestly.
Yeah.
Sound like it's a little too easy though, so I thought that's what happens. It
Yeah.
sounds a little too easy. So, and also, when would Joe? I don't know when Joe Ingles will be back from the ACL injury.
I think he'd be ready for at least training camp, man, because he tore his ACL kind of early in the year. You know, they traded him to Portland, and you know he didn't even suit up for Portland, and that was before the trade deadline, which is in February. So he hurt himself.
I think he already hurt himself before that.
Yeah, so he hurt himself maybe early December, like sometime at the beginning of the season. You know, it take about 9 months to a year to kind of recover from ACL. I think by October, he should at least be, you know, in some form of being ready, you know, and then maybe you may see him again in like December, because that'll be kind of like the whole year right there. So, you know, he might not be ready to officially start the season on day one, but if you could get him early in the beginning of the season, especially on the cheap contract, that to me that could be a shooter. Like we need a knockdown shooter, and that's something that he is.
And you know, I don't know. I don't even know the whole Joe Ingles route outside of him being on the Jazz for like 6 years. So, I think he'll probably like Chicago. Honestly, I know he probably wasn't happy in Portland.
No. I mean, I think that was just a try. I think he already knew, like, yeah, you know, this is the final year of my contract. I'm rehabbing right now. You know, just he had to take it, you know, like there wasn't really nothing else he could do. Like he not playing right now. The Jazz is trying to compete. You know, they got you on the roster and you're not available. So I don't think he took it like no hard way, but you know, at the end of the day, this basketball thing is business, you know. So but with all that being said, man, with the free agency route, where does this leave Kobe White, in your opinion?
Honestly, I think he'll probably be involved in a sign and trade, to bring in some, because you did bring out a cool route, Joe Ingles and JaVale McGee, but if something doesn't go right, I think Kobe White's gonna probably be the first person to go. Another thing I was looking at is we also don't know the development of Marco, the second round pick from last year after Io. It could be it might be time for him to start getting somewhere, you know. Like you say, at a certain point, Tristan Thompson was out there. He wasn't really giving us too much. So, you know, the guy been on the team for a year. He was putting up numbers in the G League, giving it to us every way in the G League. So I think, you know, they'll probably have to look at his development, and that'll probably determine what they feel they need to do for big man moving forward. But I don't think Kobe's gonna be on the team for sure by after trade deadline. I don't think he makes it to the end of the year.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I think with Kobe it's kind of a tricky situation because whoever trades for him, he is a restricted free agent, and that means if you do trade for him, it has to be a team that's projected with salary space next season. Who can kind of, you know, negotiate with Kobe. Maybe some teams see a high upside in Kobe that, you know, he's not able to fulfill here, and they probably can, you know, do better with that. Which to me, I think that's just gonna be the difficulty of just finding that team, though. Like, who sees Kobe White as somebody who, you know, they can actually build with in the future. Now, I got a few names that come to mind. Like, I think like Detroit would be a good place for Kobe.
I know places that would be good for him. I just don't know what we would get in return.
Yeah. I think Houston, Oklahoma, like some young rebuilding team. I think Kobe
I even feel like
right
he would be good on the Lakers. I feel like he would be good on the Wizards.
I think Kobe could fit in multiple places, but I don't know what they're gonna give up, and I'm not sure who wants to spend cap space on him. That's like the biggest thing. Like you could send him a qualifying offer. I think his qualifying offer gonna be maybe about $9 million or so, and let him kind of bet on himself to try to fight for another contract. So pretty much you got a cost control asset for 2 years in Kobe White if you do trade for him. But then again, it's the team. It's who willing to make that bet when you could just wait a year, and then if you want to sign them, see if Chicago go match the contract, and if they don't match the contract, you could possibly get them for cheaper. So that's my only thing with Kobe. Now I do think he has the work ethic, and him missing out on the off season last year. I think he definitely, him having this complete off season, coming in the next season, I think he has the work ethic to kind of be better. I think last year I think people are getting bored with Kobe, but I think the reason why they're bored with Kobe, again, he didn't have an off season last year. He missed training camp, missed the beginning of the season. He didn't really have time to develop. So he had to develop while playing games, and that's kind of difficult,
Yeah.
With him having this off season, if he can come back and be a better player, I think at the end of the day, you got a year to kind of make a decision on Kobe or Ayo. Ayo being homegrown, actually being a pick by the new front office. I think Ayo has the advantage right now, but arguably, to me, Kobe and Ayo, they kind of like the same level of player to me right now. They give you two different things. Ayo may have a little bit higher upside, in my opinion, but Kobe's not a bad player either. I just don't know where he fits on this team currently, especially with Ayo being here. So I think
even still after the last couple picks we made to us as well. So
yeah, I think this year they're gonna have to battle it out, bro. They're gonna have to figure it out. That's why we got them people up there in the front office. So maybe they know something we don't know. They see these guys practice, they interact with them. They know their work ethic, they know their mentality. We kind of relate more to Ayo being from Chicago, so we know how it is when you get into a position where you want to stay. Like this is home, so he going with a fight. Like Ayo ain't just finna let nobody come in and take whatever he think is his. Especially being from here. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason without a doubt. Without a doubt,
for sure. I would say the one other thing I wanted to touch on real quickly was the other comments he made about Lonzo's injury.
Oh yeah. Lonzo Ball, man. Season was to start today. Will he be ready? I hope so. What you feel about that, man? You think Lonzo gonna be ready for training camp?
Yeah, that's crazy. I hope so. This was supposed to be a 6-week injury, and it's been 6 months almost. So this is actually kind of alarming. And something that people was talking about was this the same knee he already had surgery on before when he was a Laker.
Right.
So now it's starting to be a question about his knee, like how the fact that it's not rehabbing well, and on top of the fact when if he re-injures it again. So I think that also kind of plays a role for Kobe, because let's just say we only have Lonzo for 30, 40 games this season. We're going to need that extra body in Kobe. So, like, especially we want someone a little bit more experienced. You don't want to throw a rookie out there. And
somebody used to the system.
Yeah, there's someone we know what we're going to get out of them, and someone who actually supposed to provide what we need to some shooting. So it's just tough, because I really wanted to see Lonzo out there, because I wanted to see us at a healthy level again, playing with that excitement at the beginning of last year. And I feel like when he went down, like that's kind of when he went down, for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot is depending on his health. That's something more what the front office knows. We really need Lonzo. I have seen pictures of him, in the gym with LeVar and Jello. So that, leads me to think that he's, healthy and ready and able to play, and, a form of body that can, out there who's working out and is some form of healthy. But then again, we don't know, and Mark Eversley didn't validate any of our concerns. So it's like we really don't know. I think he will be healthy at the start of training camp. If he working out now already, again, the season don't start till October. We only in June, man. So he got at least 4 months to kind of get prepared and get ready. They made a comment talking about Lonzo Ball playing Summer League. I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to play Summer League. Why would he do that?
Nah.
I've been seeing people, I think when Mark Eversley was interviewing, they asked him, will Pat play Summer League? And I think he said so. And a lot of people was thinking that, Lonzo possibly, might play Summer League to kind of get more reps in and stuff like that. But I don't see. He's a proven veteran. Why would he do that? He's not doing that.
I can see Pat playing maybe one more Summer League since he didn't play the first one.
I don't think Pat even finna play Summer League.
I'm not gonna say, but he proved last Summer League he's good for that. At this moment, it's getting him ready at the NBA level. Not even probably getting him ready for his role, not even trying to see what he can do. We kind of already saw that already. So probably Ayo would be there, of course.
No, Ayo definitely gonna be there. Dalen, Justin, they gonna be there for sure. I think
Marco.
Marco. A lot of our bench pieces, potential bench pieces. So, we 2 weeks away from Summer League. Everybody should lock in and watch that. I can see Pat probably practicing with the team. If Lonzo healthy, maybe practicing with them, just being out there to kind of get them reps up. But I don't want to see them playing Summer League. Save their body for the full season. We're officially a playoff team. We need to be focusing and thinking playoffs,
Yeah,
we need as much rest as we can.
The new mentality. They ain't even prove people wrong. Now it's like playoffs. Getting to the next round in the playoffs.
Exactly. So, I look forward to these rookies, though. But Q, my last question before we get up out of here: what's your number one off-season move right now? What would it be? Assuming Zach is coming back,
I mean, of course, assuming Zach coming back, because that's number one. That's probably going to get announced as soon as free agency starts, like last year. But the only move I heard that makes sense off the bat that that's actual reports was the Mitchell Robinson move. So I would really love if we can get him in an affordable range. If that's pretty much all I can hope for. I do like the Joe Ingles idea you brought up. I said some people brought up some interesting trade options, but nothing I'm really sold on. Nothing like someone that's either. Basically, it's nothing's really out there that's game changing as far as we know. Like Jeremy Grant's already been traded, Christian Wood's been traded. So Bradley Beal's looking like he's going to be extended. So it's not really no big trades happening that would be an intermediate shakeup. So at that point, I just feel like, we go with what we need, get Mitchell Robinson, look for some nice lengthy shooters, some guys, and, look for a nice trade package for Kobe, like whoever has the best option, whether it's to get us some picks in the future, or whether it's for a player that can contribute now.
Yeah. If I had to go, my number one off-season move right now, if we do not get Rudy Gobert, this is that would be my number one move. But I'm not sure. Again, after draft night, I don't see that as being feasible right now. I would really want to go DeAndre Ayton. That'll be it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up good.